This is a new life simulation program built around one simple but powerful idea: emergence. By taking a look at this thing called emergence within biology, I was able to code everything you're seeing using just two simple rules. But how was this simulation made? Is everything you're seeing really the result of just two simple rules? Let's go back in time to a program that's been around for a few years, known as particle life, where one of these two rules resides. Particle life is built around a fundamental observation seen throughout our natural world known as emergence, where complex phenomena arise from simple building blocks or rules. To understand emergence, take for example a flock of starlings. This dance these birds do to share information and confuse predators is known as a murmuration. Similar to what we see in particle life, it's as if when these birds come together, a new organism emerges from the flock. This entire bird formation can be distilled down to a few simple rules that each bird follows, which is known as Boyd's algorithm. Boyd's algorithm can be distilled down to this. Each bird tries to fly in the same direction as the birds closest to it while staying close, but not too close, to the other birds. And because each bird follows these simple rules, this beautiful dance naturally emerges. In fact, what you're looking at right now is a simulation of the flocking behavior built around Boyd's algorithm with added aerodynamics. This phenomenon, where complex behaviors arise from simpler parts, is known as emergence, and there are many other examples of emergence in nature. Individual frozen water molecules coming together to form beautiful, symmetrical snowflakes. The fascinating behavior of ant colonies carried out by a bunch of small ants. Biologists even hypothesized that life itself emerged from basic chemical reactions, which is the key idea we'll come back to when we talk about Particle Life 2.0. In the original Particle Life, the fundamental rule that creates this more complex behavior is simple. Some particles are attracted to other particles, and some particles are repelled from other particles, and it's all based on the particle's color. Take, for example, this simple setup with yellow and blue particles. Let's make the yellow particles attracted to each other. This causes a phenomenon known as clustering. And let's make the blue particles attracted to blue particles, so we get more clustering. Now, let's make the blue particles slightly repelled by the yellow particles. And finally, let's make the yellow particles attracted to the blue particles. As you can see, the yellow particles are now chasing the blue particles, and what emerges appears to almost be a new organism that is propelled forward. This attraction-repulsion rule can be represented by using a 2D matrix, as you can see on the right. This is known as the attraction matrix, and just like the birds that each follow Boyd's algorithm, each particle follows these rules of attraction and repulsion, and what emerges is something entirely new. There are some other rules that control things like the simulation's physics, but the rule around attraction and repulsion is what matters most, and it's the main driver behind the emergent behavior you're seeing right now. By adding more particle colors and randomizing this attraction matrix, you can get some really nice results. But what if we wanted even more emergent behavior by adding just one more rule? Let's take another look at nature. In fact, let's go all the way back to the beginning, when life was just beginning to form on a microscopic scale. The study of how life might arise from non-living matter is known as abiogenesis. The prevailing hypothesis within abiogenesis is known as the RNA world hypothesis, which posits that given the right environment and enough time, basic chemical reactions eventually gave rise to something called RNA for the first time, which then resulted in cells that could self-replicate, mutate, and compete for survival. The key idea from this hypothesis is that basic chemical reactions are capable of producing complex, emergent behavior. So how does this idea apply to particle life 2.0? Is it possible to make a simple rule that loosely simulates chemical reactions and results in emergent properties such as self-replication? The answer I'm suggesting is yes. To see how this new rule works in Particle Life 2.0, let's go back to the example with yellow and blue particles. Just like before, let's make the blue particles attracted to each other, and let's make the yellow particles attracted to each other as well. Finally, let's make the blue particles attracted to the yellow particles, and the yellow particles repelled by the blue particles. I tweaked the physics variables for this example, so notice how this time there are only a few chasing particles and a lot of very dense clusters. In fact, this cluster is so dense that particles are moving past each other and producing what is referred to as a star. Let's introduce the new rule to fix this and discover some fascinating new emergent properties. The new rule in Particle Life 2.0 is simple. Particles that get very close to each other can change color. Let's make that change now, so blue particles that get close to other blue particles turn yellow. As you can see, a lot of blue particles turned yellow, and now we have some very dense yellow stars. Let's fix that by making yellow particles become blue if they get very close to each other. So we should expect some sort of back and forth between yellow and blue particles. Wow, look at that. It's as if new organisms emerged from those stars. Because yellow particles can become blue and blue particles can become yellow, we're actually left with a very stable system and the opportunity to see some very interesting emergence. Take a closer look at these more dense yellow-blue clusters. They're now splitting, almost like cell division, into new creatures. Their high density causes something like an unstable chemical reaction until enough yellow particles split away, taking some blue particles with them and producing a new creature. You also have these creatures with just enough density to have tiny little reactions within their cell bodies, almost as if they're walking. And that's it. That's the new rule. Particles that get very close to each other can change color, sort of like how two molecules that get close to each other can create a chemical reaction and produce a new molecule. Just like the attraction-repulsion rule, the recoloring rule can be represented using a 2D matrix as well. Let's call it the recoloring matrix. By randomizing these two matrices and tweaking the variables that control the rest of the physics, new fascinating things arise. And that's the whole story of how I invented, quote, new life. If you like how these particle life scenes look and want to support the channel, consider buying my wallpaper pack. For just $5, you get a pack of 30 still images from Particle Life 2.0, all in 4K resolution, and another 4 looping animated videos in 1080p as well, all handpicked to look good as wallpapers. For added bonus, I included a few 1440p ultra-wide wallpapers too. Consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment with your favorite particle life scene. If this video gets enough traction, I'll make another video going over how to code this for yourself, and I might even look into a Particle Life 3.0. In the meantime, I would watch something like Tom Moore's video for coding the original Particle Life. Links in the description.